welcome back to Here We Golf and the first Fanteam Fantasy Golf podcast. I'm Jay and I'm joined by Dan.
How's it going?
So, as alluded to in the other show, we are now bringing our content to you in association with Fanteam.com. Fanteam is Europe's largest daily fantasy sports site and provides season-long weekly fantasy sports games along with weekly games for each PGA Tour event and head-to-head. They also do a lot of other sports, so if you haven't seen them, football's a big one. It's worth going and checking them out. We do really rate what they're doing in the space. To celebrate the partnership, which we're really proud to be partnered with them, they've given us a couple of quality introductory offers to get you going. First of all, if you sign up using our link in the description below or via the QR code, on screen you'll get a free ticket into the £2 Players Fantasy game this week. And if you make a paid entry to any game this week, you'll get a free £12 ticket. Now, with the prize pools at $2,500, I think, this week already, of the 37 entrants, it's a good way of making a decent bit of money for the weekend to go out and get yourself a nice couple of beers. So, yeah, I'd 100% advise you to do that. We're going to do a new podcast each week to cover the Fanteam PGA Tour game, but we're going to help you out as well. Despite playing ourselves and getting our money on the line, we are going to look deep dive into stats, and we're going to, give you as big a helping hand as we can. So like and subscribe and beat your mates and win some dollar for the weekend. So how are we, Dan? Are we all right?
Good, mate. Yeah, very excited with this.
It couldn't have come at a better week, really, could it? With the fifth major, as they call it.
Yeah, no, we've been chucked in the deep end with this. There's going to be
Absolutely.
a few eyes on this one aside from the majors. It's the biggest one on the PGA Tour, isn't it? So
Absolutely, yeah. So, how do you see this one going? Where are we looking? Where are we going to start?
Well, so this is at the so we've got the Players Championship at the TPC Sawgrass Stadium course, and it's based in Florida.
Mhm.
Par 72 course of around 7,300 yards.
Mhm.
So it's sort of run of the mill, really. It's not too particularly long, and it's not a short one. Probably in like the top sort of 25% of courses in terms of distance.
Yeah.
We've got a purse of $25 million, and we've got Scottie Scheffler, who's won the last two events.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? 3-peat on the cards?
I doubt it. I just can't see him doing it this week. The stats point to him doing it this week, but they are only stats, really, aren't they? I think you've got to look at form as well.
You've got to look at the eye test as well, haven't you?
I don't think he's there mentally, maybe at the moment. I think obviously he's probably going to get a top 10 finish, top 15 finish. I think that's nearly a given for him, but I don't think he's there to win it this week. I may be proved wrong, but that's just my opinion based on what I've seen.
Fair enough. Well, we'll cover off a few admin side of things, and then we'll start looking into the stats in a bit of a deeper dive, and see who comes out on top in terms of what we're looking at for this week, and then see if we can put a couple of teams together and Fanteam.com teams and talk about the pricing and structures and stuff like that, and see where we go from there.
Yep.
I've had a look at the weather this week, because obviously it can play an impact. Usually you've got your sort of Thursday tee times as a morning wave and then an afternoon wave, and then same on Friday it switches around. So obviously if Thursday mornings guys are getting nice calm conditions and then the wind picks up, the rain comes in on Thursday afternoon, and it's still there Friday morning, you're not going to be wanting to pick players from them later tee off times on the Thursday. Fortunately this week we seem to have a level playing field as far as the weather's concerned. It's little to no wind. We're talking 5 km/h winds across the day Thursday and across the day Friday. So that's one sort of metric that we don't have to really factor in. It is due to pick up on the weekend, but that's everyone's at the same boat by that point, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when the field's caught. Yeah,
it's stadium course. relatively tight fairway, similar to last week at the Arnold Palmer,
Mhm.
averaging about 33 yards from width.
Yeah.
With, as I alluded to there, it's not particularly long. It's not overly long. You don't have to be a bomber. You don't have to send it.
Yeah.
You need to find fairways. I think get the ball,
Yeah, I
keep
think
the ball in play.
definitely. I think it's once you miss a fairway at Sawgrass, it's really penalising. They've got Bermuda grass, haven't they, on the fairways in the rough, which is and around the green, which is really sticky when you try and get your club through it.
Yeah, if you're chipping into green.
Apparently, according to Golf Digest, you lose approximately 0.45 strokes per missed fairway on this in this tournament, which is much higher than the PGA Tour average. So it just shows you how much you've got to hit the fairway. So yeah,
Yeah. Lots of juicy rough there, but there's sand and water hazards as well. These
Mhm.
fairways are well protected.
Yeah.
A lot of tree line fairways as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me anyway, predominantly going to be focusing on accuracy off the tee and approach this week.
And not necessarily
Obviously,
length.
No, length does not matter this week. Not in our world anyway. Well,
Never matters to me. To be fair.
am I doing a bit? Yeah, it's iconic, isn't it? 17th hole.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
That sort of 16th, 17th stretch where they're coming up the 16th, you can see across to the island green.
I bet your heart's pumping on that, especially in the final round when you're in contention. You get to the 17th. Honestly, I can't imagine how that must feel.
Yeah, it's like they're just happy to hit the dance floor on that hole, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking on the weekly roundup pod where we mentioned about Tiger's putt. Like it's just like one of the biggest moments of golf. That green can be pretty treacherous. Yeah, we've got Bermuda grass and we've got Bermuda greens top overseeded with Hoa Trivialis, which gives firm, quick greens. I'm led to believe.
Yeah. It's like a porn star.
Have you had a look at the stats? What sort of stats based on that are you factoring in this week? Then what are you looking for?
For me, it's been a deep dive, but I've gone full on strokes gained off the tee. I think that's got to be consideration. Approach within 150 to 175 yards. If you're going to be trying to be accurate, you're not going to be bombing drives down there. So I think an average, not a wedge into greens, but an average shot into greens has got to be taken. Stats for that have got to be taken really, really highly. And then also I've gone with
It's gone.
sorry, strokes gained, weighted strokes gained, accuracy, and driving accuracy, and as I said before.
Yeah, just when you say strokes
175 yards.
gained off the tee there, I was thinking you've got to be including fairways hit or driving accuracy or something like that. 'Cause, yeah, like you just said, they get punished. You miss a fairways, you're getting punished, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Especially with the level of hazards and the trees. The trees line the fairway, but actually cut into your tee shot. So not only have you got to hit the ball straight and find the fairway, you've got dog legs where you could be hitting a branch. So it's so tough.
Yeah, that's ball strikers course and your shot shape.
Yeah, definitely. What sort of stats are you going with?
Very similar. I've not put as much weight on strokes gained off the tee. Gone pretty heavy in strokes in terms of driving accuracy and around the green as well. Just with the grass type, you've got to be comfortable chipping up and down this place. I put a bit of course form in there as well. Just I'll do that every week. I know some people might just be out of form one year, and that might sort of detract from their overall form at that course. But I want to see horses for courses. You know what I mean? I want to know that they can play well at this track. So I've got quite a bit of weight in TPC Sawgrass as well, and bogey avoidance as well.
Yeah,
because with it being punishing for those who do miss the fairway, you want them to be able to recover and not be blowing up. Like I had Cam Davis in my team last week as my underdog, and threw a couple of double bogeys on the front nine on Friday, and then that's chances paid. So you want to try and you want to try and cut that out if you need to try and find a balance really. You need point scorers, but you need to avoid players that are going to cost you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think
I've got a bit of bogey avoidance in there as well.
A lot of what you've just said there is really good as well, though. You've got people who make birdies, like a lot of birdies, and even if there are a few doubles in there, they are getting much higher points by making the birdies, aren't they? So it's like Stableford, isn't it? You can have a couple of blobs on your round and still score well with a load of birdies.
So long as they're making the cut.
Yeah, that's it.
It's too many of them. You need with this game, if it damages you if you've got players only playing 2 days instead of 4.
Yeah, definitely.
It's you can put paid to having any hopes really. You need to try and get your players into the weekend.
Definitely. Agreed.
So yeah, bogey avoidance in there for me. So where does that bring you out? Who are you considering then? Looking at the top end of the price bracket, the premiums, so to speak, the stars. Who are you thinking of?
Obviously, you've got to look at Scottie. For me, he's probably not going to make it in my team.
25.6 million on Fanteam this week.
It's a lot of money to put in when there's players out there who, as you saw last week at the Arnold Palmer, are playing so much better, so much more in form. It just seems like quite a heavy pick to pick him because you've got to lose quality elsewhere, haven't you? So for me, it's not one for Scottie this week. Morikawa, I think his stats are right up there with Scottie's. As you've seen last week, he played absolutely awesome. He just didn't do it in the final round. But if he can kick on this week, I think it's going to be a good week for Colin Morikawa. He's a major champion as well, isn't he? So for me, it's him over Scottie. I'm not going anywhere near Rory. I don't think his game's there. I think we talked about it in the other show. He changing clubs too much, and for me, his stats aren't there. His putter's cold.
But he's gone back. He's gone back to his old clubs though on Sunday, didn't he? And he said he's going to stick with them.
It just shows a bit of inconsistency, doesn't it? It just shows like he's not all there in his head. If he's actually changing his clubs at this point in the season. I think you mentioned on the pod he should have been under the start of the season, didn't he?
Yeah, but just on Rory while we're on this, so he's not near the top of sort of models on the stats this week because of it depends how you weight what you want off the tee. If you go strokes gained off the tee, he's going to be up there.
Yeah.
If you go for driving accuracy, up fairways hit, it hurts him.
Yeah. So
it depends on what you want this week really as to whether he's going to show up in terms of what the stats say. I personally don't think if you're missing fairways this week, I think it's going to hurt, and the rest of his game is going to be absolutely on fire. And we've seen this week it's not.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at it from that point of view, do you remember when Tiger was in his prime, but he wasn't great off the tee, and he used to hit a 2-iron he was hitting 2 irons into most fairways because he knew that was his club. If Rory did that and he had a club like his 4-iron, because he can probably still whack his 4-iron a good 250 yards, 260 yards. If he could do that round here, then yeah, I'd put him right in contention. but I don't think his ego would let him do it.
Yeah, he's always trying to get that extra bit of distance, isn't he? And it's like he's already got plenty of advantage over the field, hasn't he? Just take a bit off it, find some fairways.
Yeah, probably do it with a 7-iron, couldn't he? So yeah, that's the. I think looking at Xander Schauffele is a £22 million pick, $1 million pick.
22.2, yeah.
I think that's.
It doesn't actually have a currency on it on Fanteam. It's just 22.2 M.
Million.
Monies. 22.2 monies.
Monies. I'll have some of them monies. I'm happy with that. But yeah, I don't think he's in the reckoning for this week. I might be proved wrong, but with his injuries and stuff and his form, I suppose you can never discount the world. Anyone so high in the world rankings, though.
Off the back of the injury, though, and he showed a bit of rust this week. I want to see a bit more from him. Show a bit of consistency.
Yeah.
He's class. No doubt he's class.
Yeah, of course.
And he is relatively high up on the model, but for the premium picks, he's not high enough for me.
Yeah, true. And then what? Hideki?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, very, very much in my thinking this week.
Yeah.
Not so much stats based though; it's more of a gut based pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's won this year. He's playing well, and he's won here before. So, whilst you look, if you it doesn't necessarily contradict what we've just said, but he falls a bit below what the other guys do in that price bracket in terms of stats. But he's finding a way at the minute, and he's got the course form. So I've got Hideki up as a consideration at that price bracket.
Plus, he's won once this season already, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like he's out of form. It's just he lacks a bit of consistency, but that can strike whenever, can't he? And if he's a horse for course, then I agree with you on the gut pick there. But he is expensive. So
well,
is
he's
he
at the lower end of that bracket, 19.8. Scottie Scheffler's 25.6. That's a hefty saving.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not in the same league as each other, but Scottie is he's showing up in all the stats. If you actually watch him, it's just not quite clicking. There's something amiss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he's on it, he's like Tiger used to be. Like he's just insane to watch.
Pure.
This last few weeks is just not quite there. Justin Thomas.
Yeah. Coming into form, isn't he?
Another previous win around here.
Yeah.
Ticking over nicely and playing well regularly.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's he's been getting a lot of headlines as well recently. I don't know whether you've seen the Gary Woodland story recently about his when he found his tumour. First guy he told was Justin Thomas. Testament to his I know he blew up straight after he told him mid golf round, but testament to how nice of a person he is, and to come back into form, it seems like it can only happen to a decent guy like that. So nothing to do with fantasy whatsoever, but he's definitely one to pick this week, given his his past few weeks. Plus, he's won round here before.
Yeah, he's won round here before. He's had a really off week with the putter this week.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer, he lost five strokes gained with his putter, whereas everything else he was gaining. So whereas previous weeks he's pretty much been in the green.
Yeah.
In terms of strokes gained, so he's playing well. It's showing in his form.
Mm-hmm.
He's since the turn of the year, he's had a second, a sixth, and a ninth. So yeah, I can very much see JT being in the mix at 20.2 monies. I think is a fair saving on Scottie.
Yeah. Would you say he's a gut pick or is he a stats pick?
Well, a bit of both, because he's not consistently brilliant off the tee, but he has shown that he can gain strokes off the tee and be inaccurate.
For me, I think it falls into two categories. I think it's the gut
the
pick.
form he's got in the course form. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I think we've got a little delay, but no, we'll work with this. I think we've got to look at it both either a gut pick or a stats pick. I think for me, if we're merging both, then may not be the one for this week, but I may be proved wrong. But that's the way I think. I think everyone sees it in a different way, don't they? The fantasy game, and that's what makes it such a good game to play.
Yeah, that's the thing with these. Like, we could put all this narrative on these stats and put across what we think, but at the end of the day, you got to go with kind of what you feel, really. And I think there's so much to be said of watching a player and seeing their body language, the way they handle themselves on the course, and things like that.
Yeah,
that's just put me off Scottie, even though he's demolishing the field and whatever stat or metric you're looking at. The other player I'm looking at in this sort of level, sort of 19.5 upwards, if you like, is Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Can Tommy do more than just finish like top 20?
For me, probably not. He's
just ball striker. It's just got everything apart from putting. Just needs that putter tee to win.
That's it, and
so frustrating, especially like being a bloody local lad, but just rooting for him and every week.
For me, though,
his nemesis, and it comes up short.
It's not just bad putting though. He's quite. You can't really seem to read them. He'll hold like a 40-footer, and then he'll come to like a 5-footer, and it'll just nip about that much wide. So I just can't see
aggressive enough, I don't think.
No,
like, sort of 6-10 feet range, and Tiger stand over a putt, and you just knew he was draining it.
Same Luke Donald as well. Remember Luke Donald years ago? I don't think he missed. I think he was like 400 putts where he was within 3 foot. He made every single one of them. That when he got to number one in the world.
Yeah, to put some mean stuff for Tommy. Just it's not enough. So at this price, are you going to be happy with that? Basically, 19.6 million.
Not for me.
No,
not for me.
Anyone else up there? Ludwig, Cantlay?
I think Ludwig, given that he won the Genesis a couple of tournaments ago, he's got to be a contender, hasn't he? I mean, just going off his ball striking, his swing, he's class. He's a brilliant player. He's rose up to one of the best in the world. Got to be in contention for me, but in this field,
easy to dismiss him on recency bias, isn't it? After struggling this week, but
that's it. That's the only thing I've got against him. But looking at the stats as well, he doesn't hold up with the other lads. So for me, no, it's a no based on the stats and gut.
Oh, see, me gut would have him in consideration. He's finished sixth at the Hero, 5th at the Century. Then he had a couple of weeks where he was ill and he finished like 42nd, and then he withdrew the week after.
Yeah.
So, and like when he withdrew, like his shots gained are like.
Yeah.
So I think if you take that week out, he's gonna be coming back up to the top of your model. He goes and wins once he's back to full fitness. He goes and wins the Genesis.
So it's like a sort of.
You could just put your weighting in your model.
Yeah.
And it puts him down out of consideration. But really, when you watch him and you look at other aspects outside of stats, I think it'd be folly to discount it completely.
I think that's where standard deviation comes into it, though, isn't it?
And he finished 8th in this last year.
All right, yeah.
His first and only appearance at Sawgrass so far. He finished 8th.
What a player! What a player he's going to be if he carries on.
Yeah, great to watch. Lovely
Maybe.
swing, just smooth.
Oh, dead smooth, yeah. And what's he then? He's 20.4 million. I think it's just a bit high for me on this one, but I think Morikawa gets it for me over on the in the 20 millions.
So if you're throwing him in your team, you captain in Morikawa, yeah?
100%. 100%.
Sounds good.
And I know it's probably based on the Arnold Palmer, but it's a similar course, isn't it? It's if you don't hit the fairway, you goosed.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and squeeze a Scheffler team in, just because I'm so horses for courses. I prefer to know that he can do it round here, and he's done it last 2 years in a row. Yeah. And then probably a more balanced team with the likes of JT and Thomas, who I know JT and Tommy. I guess it was right to a degree. Yeah, JT and Tommy, a bit more balanced, save that 5 million, put it elsewhere, and then have to have a little think about who we're capping out on them too.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a good shout. Let's move on to mid-tier.
Mid-tier, this is
I think this is a minefield. It's not even scripted, is it?
Wavelength, yeah. Yeah, so when you drop below their level, so we've not mentioned Daniel Berger, who's come back to fitness and playing really well.
Yeah.
But I just think at his price point there, I don't think you can consider him.
No.
Russell Henley going to go back to back?
Probably not.
Like again, at the price point, you're not looking at him. I think he's weighted too high off his recent one, whereas you can spend like half a million and get Fleetwood, or another million and get Matsuyama or Justin Thomas or something. So
I think the celebrations are going to be too hard from Russell Henley this week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just won 4 million.
These players struggling going back to back with all the extra media, the extra tension. He's going to have partied last night, I'm sure.
Literally, he's going to have 15 Jack Daniels and Coke last night. Nah, he's not going anywhere near it.
So yeah, and then you're dropping down then to just quite good bunch of solid tour players, really. But, you can't have them all. On my model, probably the top out of this bracket comes in is Shane Lowry, 18.2 monies.
Yeah.
Just,
for me,
he's like in a Tommy mold though, like he's always thereabouts.
Yeah.
Not quite fantastic. Inspiring. It's trying to get me words there, but yeah.
For me, the top of the list for me is Sepp Straka in this mid-tier range. He's a bit more expensive than I'd like for a mid-tier player, but is he a mid-tier player? I don't really know. He's won on tour this season.
I think he's value at that price.
I think he is. I do. I really do.
I think he could easily. I don't think, if based on the way he's played this year, I think if you put him in the 19s, I don't think anyone would go, fuck, he's well expensive.
No, I don't. And I probably might even still pick him based on his form and his stats. He's fourth on my model. So, yeah, it's definitely one for me.
Yeah, he's not as high up for me, but in that price bracket, he's one of the top ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's probably going to be in consideration in whichever team I put out. He's probably going to be there.
Definitely. Secondly, Aaron Rai, way up in my stats, in the top 6, really cheap at 14.6 million monies. 14.2 million monies. Even cheaper.
I was just checking to see if I needed to correct you there. I thought it was 14.2,
yeah. 14.2 million monies, and that is value. I picked him last week as well because I think we've been following him for a while because we've seen the fields of Aaron Rai, don't we, Adam? Every time we go and watch him.
Of Aaron Rai.
Every time we go and watch him in a tournament. So yeah, I think he's a massive value for me. Thirdly, Lucas Glover. Bit of a wacky one there for me, but in my model, he is coming out as second, so he's very accurate. Not necessarily long, but weighted, gets strokes off the tee. And for 13.6 million, money's one for me. Definitely one for me.
Yeah. I'd say Aaron Rai's more towards the bottom end of this bracket. That's probably
Would you say?
the range we're at, yeah. In between, I've got my eye on a couple. Again, this is my course flow coming to the fore here.
Yep.
Siwoo Kim.
Yep.
Who 16.4 won here previously.
Yep.
And if you look at his form over sort of the back end of 2024, yeah, the withdrawal, he finished 32nd, he missed cut, tied 51st, and then a cut.
Mm-hmm.
But then in his last three, he seems to have sorted himself out and started gaining strokes in many aspects again, including off the tee and approaching around the green and stuff.
Yeah.
With the win here last year, 16.4, I don't know if that's reasonable price for someone who knows how to get around here and seems to have put his little blip behind him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
so
right.
he's under consideration. The other one is Canadian Corey Connors.
Flat.
Good player, shows up well. Whatever sort of weight you seem to put on the model seems to show up pretty well in it and fares okay. He finished third at the Arnold Palmer. He's had one missed cut since the turn of the year. Tied for 5th century as well. So yeah,
he's definitely one to consider, isn't he?
I think so. He fares, as I say, fares pretty well on the model there. There's plenty of others. Let's just have a flick over onto the next page. Keegan Bradley.
Yeah, discussed this in the other show actually.
I was going to say because I've not actually looked into him in too much depth in terms of his stats because he's not appeared on my model at all.
No, not mine either.
I'm scrolling, but yeah, he's way down here. But he's playing pretty well, and he's just kind of ticking along really. And Arnold Palmer wasn't he until Sunday, and then just shot lights out. And Sunday managed to get himself up in a tie for 5th.
Yeah, that'll give him a lot of confidence. But as you said before, the Masters coming, the Ryder Cup coming. It's another good points tournament, isn't it, to pick up?
Yeah. Yeah, he's gained strokes in most facets of the game this season. He had a pretty bad week at the Pebble Beach, but other than that, he's playing quite well actually. A couple of tie for 15s, tie for 6, and then 5th last week.
Yeah.
And even in that Pebble Beach one, he made the cut even though he didn't play well. So he could be one for consideration because that's a reasonable price, 15.4.
Oh, definitely. Is that you done for mid-range picks?
I'm just kind of throwing names out there really, just to see where we feel. Like Jason Day, we talked about on the roundup pod as well, didn't we? As it's nice to see him back playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Where would you put Michael Kim? I feel bad putting him in a low-range pick because if you look at his stats from the year, he's been absolutely unbelievable. But in my model,
we're going on price brackets, right?
Yeah. So,
but if we're going on value,
unbelievable value, isn't he?
Yeah. The Fanteam page has just disappeared. I've got about 70 tabs open. Yeah. Got about 70 tabs open. You have to just bear with me. But isn't he's in the 11s, isn't he? Was it 11.8 or something? 11.2. 11.2.
11.8. Sorry, I'm getting the 8s and my 2s mixed up today.
It's easily done, lad. What the fuck? Yeah, Michael Kim is just in an unbelievable vein of form, isn't he?
He is.
Since around June last year.
Yeah.
But then when I look at my model, he's not pulling up trees.
He's not, but he is.
That's what I mean. That's why you got to look at stats versus the eye test. Like,
The gut.
I mean, how can the stats? He's put me way down on the model. But when we look at him in 2025 or since February, let's have a look at him since February. 2nd, 13th, 6th, 4th.
Yeah.
In big events, not even like Pony Fields, like big events.
Pony Fino. I'm thinking.
Shots gained is like ridiculous, but it's because it's pulled back by.
It's because we've gone so far on accuracy and shots gained off the tee, and he's probably absolutely relentless in other aspects of the game. So because of this event,
I've got a stats up in front of me. Let me just run through this then. Phoenix, 11.3 strokes gained tee to green.
All right,
that's insane number. Genesis 3.1, Mexico 6.2, Cognizant 7.3, and Arnold Palmer 8.5 tee to green shots gained. Like they're good numbers, and that's obviously justifies his finishing positions as well.
Yeah, where does that come from?
But at that price, I think.
It's not like he spent all of his time on the European Tour either, or the DP World Tour. It literally, he played all of his time on the PGA Tour, so that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Why he's so far down in both of our models?
It's but yeah, it's one to to consider when you're looking at the stats. That there's things out there that need to be considered. He will probably be in most consideration, like in terms of lineups, and he's a perfect underdog pick.
Yeah, when you're looking at fantasy football, he's one of them picks where it's like a goal-scoring defender or an assisting defender, a marauding wing-back who's cheap at the start of the season, isn't he? It's one of them picks for me.
You lost Kirkes of Bournemouth.
Yeah, one of them.
She's getting assists every week at the minute. Yeah, that's the Michael Kim of the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
But we had we finished our mid-tier contingent, by the way.
For me, yeah.
So mentioned Jason Day. Skip back. Oh, I saw an interesting stat today, actually.
What?
Let's see if I can find it. Shout out on X here to Ron Kloss, PGA Splits 101. Only 3 players in this entire field have made the cut in each players tournament since 2019.
Really?
Siwoo Kim.
Yeah.
Mentioned them before.
Yeah.
Tom Hoagie.
Yeah.
So Siwoo Kim's average finish in this event is 26.4. Made 7 cuts. Tom Hoagie's made 6 out of 6 cuts, finishing average at 35th. And Denny McCarthy has made 5 out of 5 cuts, averaging a 40 place finish.
Denny McCarthy's definitely been on my radar. Definitely been on my radar.
15.4 he is.
Very cheap as well.
You reckon?
Yeah. Considering he's made all them cuts, his
doesn't come up anywhere near on my my model anywhere.
Not on the model, but on the
outside of that, not really a huge interest in sort of page 3 of the pricing. Coming down to Aaron Rai, and he seems to be the best value of players in that area. You mentioned Glover. Not really someone I consider. And then the next page we've got the gang of biffs, really. Just the 13.4 and below just stinks.
Gonna be fucking jelly.
No,
children.
Yeah, no, there's nothing, no interest for me at all on page 4 of the pricing, and then you
Nope.
start getting to the budget guys, then 12 and below,
Yeah.
and this is interesting this week.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. One of the guys I've looked at is Mr. Smalley,
Alex Smalley.
Alex Smalley, very budget friendly.
10.8 monies.
Yeah, but he's got the ability to compete, hasn't he? At a level which we've seen recently. So to round out a team for me at that price is, I think it's a good cost saving with a potential for a low percentage pick. Like, I don't think many people are going to have him in his team, so it's a risk reward, but a very balanced one for me.
Shows up well in my model, and 2025 we've got one miscut.
Yeah.
Where at the Farmers, the Torrey Pines, which can punish anyone really. It's a tough track, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say we could count that as an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a tie for 16th, 11th, tie for 21st, tie for 10th, tie for 18th.
Yeah, I mean that's class,
gaining shots off the tee, gaining shots around the green.
Yeah.
Tee to greens looking good. So at that price,
it's a steal.
It's an interesting one. He hasn't got great form with the players.
Mm-hmm.
Is the downside. He's had 2 appearances, a miscut and a tie for 65th.
Mm.
So, how much you weight course form on current form?
Yeah, I think for that price though, I can definitely overlook that. Definitely.
We want guys making the cut though, don't we?
Yeah, but for 10.8 million.
Well, I can trump you with that. I've got a 10.2 million that I like.
Wow.
In fact, I love it. Let me just see if I can find his profile.
You don't like it. You love it. Uh-oh.
Fill the airtime, Jay. Found it. 10.2 million.
Yeah.
41-year-old Bryce Garnett. From Valdosta, Georgia.
Who the fuck is that guy?
10.2 proper barrel scraping here. But he shows up okay in the model.
Mm-hmm.
He's made. He played in this event in 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ignore it because he was dreadful in all aspects of the game, and I reckon that was probably one of his junior years on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
To junior, he wasn't junior,
Rookie.
but I'm guessing it rookie. Yeah. Since 2018, he's played 5 times, missing 1 cut, but his stats look okay.
Yeah.
Gaining tee to green, off the tee, around the green. 1 miscut in 2021, but for 10.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I think off the back of 11 in the Cognizant.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made the cut every week this year. And if you look at the cut makers, they're just going to fill your team out, tick over each day.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a Stars and Scrubs lineup and you want to get Scottie in and want to get the big guns in, the barrel scraper there at 10.2.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good shout. There's another 10.2, which we haven't talked about. It's Darman. In my model, he's come up at 10th.
Joel Damon.
Yeah. Joel Damon, yeah. Of full swing frame and the hat. It's got to be one to consider at that price, though, surely.
That's the reason I didn't pick him. That was 6 turn-ups this week. He's missed 3 cuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is around the green is absolutely shite.
Abysmal.
abysmal. But when he doesn't play abysmal, when it's average, he's finished tied for ninth, tied for sixth, tied for 32nd.
It could happen then. It just depends on what Joe Darlington turns up.
Well, it depends on his chipping.
Yeah.
Another one in this category, I think 11.2.
Yeah.
I've got Doug Gim.
Well, I don't know why it's funny.
I have no idea why it's funny, lad. He's got one miscut in 2025, showing up well on the model, pretty high up considering his price point.
Yeah, he's 7th on my model as well.
Yeah, Tita Green, just solid for quite a while.
Yeah.
And his putting's letting him down, which is why his finishing isn't great. But he had an 11th to Cognizant. But at that price, if you want someone to make cuts, and if you can even just doesn't even need to be average putting. If he only loses a stroke instead of 4 or 5 like he normally does, then he'll get you a decent return at 11.2.
Yeah. Might be taking worth a gamble on Doug Gim.
Doug Gim. I've got one more in this bracket. He's the top end of the bracket, and he's not going to come up on your model because he doesn't play on the PGA Tour, but he's qualified on it through his stellar performances on the DP World Tour. And it's Rory Cantor.
Yes, Laurie.
I'm excited to see him show up this week.
Yeah.
If you just have shots gained and throw him in the mix based on shots gained total and don't break it down into different areas, he comes in like 4th, I think. Just in elite level of form since he came back onto the DP World Tour since leaving for Liv.
Yeah.
Now he's obviously to step up in class, like we say, as regards to the quality of field.
Yeah.
But he has played in a number of majors, a PGA Championship, and half a dozen Opens. He's only missed 1 cut. So it's not like he can't do it in a top field. So I think he's going to be relatively lowly owned this week. I think all the stats guys are going to overlook him because he isn't going to show up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Fully agree with you. I think it's a great pick. But he is still expensive for what he is. A relative unknown in this field.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I think it's worth a gamble. I'm not saying he's not worth a gamble, but I think he's still way up there, isn't he, with the money?
But I'm gonna throw him into a lineup.
Want to stick your neck on the line?
Yeah. Yeah, I want him as me underdog initially, but then when I saw Michael Kim's price, I genuinely thought Cantor was going to be cheaper than that.
Yeah.
When I saw Michael Kim's price, I think I'm less sort of concerned about having Cantor as my underdog because that's a solid underdog pick, Michael Kim. And for that reason, although I did when I was doing a bit of research and I saw Bryce Griffin and I saw like there was a bit of something there, a bit of hope in his data and stuff.
Yeah.
When I saw Michael Kim's price, I thought that's going to have to be my bottom line.
Yeah. There's 3 more. There's 3 more players I want to ask you on in these lower echelons. Firstly, Jake Knapp. Where do you stand on Jake Knapp? He's got a lovely tempo to his swing, and he seems like he's going to be very accurate off the tee. Recently shot a 59, which is unbelievable golf, and he's 11.8 million monies.
There's plenty of water around Sawgrass, so we need to bring his armbands with him, won't
Someone get kidnapped some armbands.
we? How much is he?
11.8 monies.
No, I want Michael Kim at the same price.
Okay, next is Mr. Highsmith.
Nah,
No.
just no. Like, it's put. It's put. It's them putting stats just came out of nowhere. Like, I need to see consistent levels from them to compete in this field. Nah. Sorry, Joel.
Who the fuck is that guy? Thirdly is Mr. Hogard.
Nikolai,
Yeah,
is it?
11.4 million. He's not going to show up on many stats, but his form is incredible.
Go on, he's not come up on mine. What have you got in front of you there?
Just his form. Like, what no Wi-Fi, but when you're actually looking at form on the Fanteam website, Michael Kim is 93.05, and we all know what his form's been like. Hogard is 92.25.
Okay, I'm just going to bring his data up, see what we're seeing. Yeah, so he's only played a few times in 2025. Actually, he's been pretty quiet. He's tied for 18th in the Cognizant a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
8th place at Mexico, 36th at the Phoenix. Everything else is on the DP World Tour, which his numbers look pretty good. So yeah, that form is probably skewed by that 8th place and 18th place, and the fact that it's a small sample size for his PGA Tour.
Potentially.
But yeah, his tee to green is generally pretty good.
I like him. I do actually like him. I think he's a great player.
Struggles around the green though. The one thing that does sort of the negative around his stat is around the green is pretty bad. So he may well struggle with the old chipping on the Bermuda.
The Bermuda Triangle grass. Yeah, I agree. So have you got a team locked in now? A main team?
Not locked in at all. Not locked in by any stretch, but I've got a couple that I've sort of juggled about with and put together. I'll just run through them. So in one team, I basically went with a Laurie Cantor underdog, and that's me just being a bit biased, really, and hoping that he does well. This is more like a balanced lineup. So I've got Laurie Cantor and Aaron Rai.
Yeah.
Sepp Straka.
Yeah.
Siwoo Kim. This is all based on what we've talked about.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Thomas. JT is my captain. He could come down to Matsuyama, but whether I go with me gut and my sort of course form versus the stat and the data.
Yeah.
And data would say Thomas was probably a better pick. And I've got another team which is a bit more, shall we say, stars and scrubs. But I've basically wanted a Scottie team, see what I could build with Scottie as my captain. And I've got Hideki. And Siwoo Kim again. Aaron Rai. I think Aaron Rai I think his value is just ridiculous this week for the
I do.
numbers he's putting up. And then Laurie Cantor and then Michael Kim.
Lovely. That's very valuable. That the value in that is unbelievable.
For stars and scrubs, I like the scrubs. I like them low players, not only just turning up and making up the numbers. I think they've got chances of doing well.
Bits. Yeah, no, I agree.
Doing bits. Yeah,
No, I
it's
agree.
subject to change. We've got 3 days to go. We're gonna have a play with it and stuff. But
I like it. I like it.
how are you looking? Have you thrown something together?
Yeah, based on what we've said, really, Morikawa is always going to be the captain this week. I'm going full in on him. I think he's top of my stats after Scottie, and with Scottie's recent form, I don't think he's going to do well. So for me, Morikawa goes in as captain. Then we're looking at Sepp Straka. He's an absolute war. He's a Trojan horse. 17.2 million monies is value for me, as we've already said. Then we've got Aaron Rai, as you just said. He's total value. Gone a bit rogue with Lucas Glover. That may be subject to change, but in my model, he's come up as second or third, so can't really overlook that stats. But I will do a little bit more deep diving into Lucas Glover, and if not, it's either going to be Hogard or Jake Knapp. Then we've got Smalley, at 10.8 million as the underdog. I think I can't look past that. And Mr. Michael Kim, as the other value pick. I think it's just a dead balanced team with a load of underdogs, low ownership underdogs that will do well for me.
You can't have a load of underdogs. Who's your underdog in that? Smalley.
I mean, what I mean is a load of mid tier, not a load of like. I'm not going in heavy on the expensive players. Yeah. It's either going to be take Smalley out and have Kim as my underdog, because the point system works whereby the underdog gets quite a good amount of points, doesn't it? So I either take him out and put, say, Hogard and Knapp in instead of Smalley, or I stick with that. So not locked in, as I said, but it's certainly looking like a shaping a team.
Sounds good. I think we've had a couple of questions from the Fanteam golf chat on X.
Yeah.
We reached out to earlier. Best players under 12. I think we've pretty much covered that off, haven't we?
We've covered that, yeah.
Any thoughts on top 5 ownership percentages?
I
think Michael Kim's going to be pretty big.
I do. I think
when you, even for like those who don't look deep into the stat side of it, on the face of it, his form and his price,
yeah,
I think stand out massively.
I think Morikawa is going to be very high owned as well.
Just we're aware there are people out there who like spend a lot of time on these projections for ownerships and stuff like that. We're not the guys you want to be looking at if you're looking for like pretty much nailed on predictions. Where this is just assumptions and just general chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think it's pretty fair. Michael Kim is going to be very popular.
I think Russell Henley and Morikawa given last week. I mean, I think a lot of people do
recency
play the
bias.
game as a bit of fun, and yeah, the recency bias does come into play. So the ownership stats will heavily favour them. Also, recent big events such as hole-in-ones by Rory, Shane Lowry at recent events, 59 by Jake Knapp. I think people have these events in their mind, and I think they're going to play well this week despite not looking at the stats. So that all contributes to ownership as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, potentially. Like Rory McIlroy is like always. He's everyone's favourite golfer these days, isn't
he? Yeah.
So he's potentially going to attract plenty of ownership, as will Scottie. But outside of that, I don't want to sort of blag it and say, yeah, I think these guys are going to be highly owned. Pretty sure Michael Kim will be highly owned as the two big guns. I think if anyone who's playing using statistics to pick the teams and looking into it. I'd be surprised if they're not looking at Aaron Rai as well. He seems to show up pretty well on whichever model you're putting in.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions?
Yeah, this one's from Mark Ferguson and seconded by DT. He says, who will win?
Who will win?
Not to put you on the spot.
Colin
Colin,
Morikawa.
haven't you?
Colin Morikawa. Colin Morikawa. Sorry.
Colin Morikawa. He's so confident he said it 3 times.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
I genuinely can't call it and look forward to it. I think Laurie Cantor's going to win.
Yeah.
No, I'm rooting for Laurie this week.
Have some splinters in your ass. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Hideki. Fair enough. Yeah, nice pick. But yeah.
Let's see if we've got any more. It's an interesting one. Should have read these before and then gone through them and prepared an answer. Another one from DT. Hypothetically speaking, if you had the choice to find out if one player of your choosing would come in the top 5 versus 3 players of your choosing who would make the cut, which option would you take?
I think you've got to go with cut. You've got to go with cut in this game because a top 5 isn't really. Yeah, I think I missed the cut with 2 players last week and it really derailed me.
Hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. 0 points versus 3 times whatever you get, and there's nothing to say that one of them them 3 that make the cut can't get the top 5 as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. There's everything to play for once you're at the weekend, aren't
you? Yeah, it's cut for me.
Cut for me.
I think that's it. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's us in terms of questions. I think that's us in terms of thoughts and musings for the Players' Championship for the Fanteam game this week.
Lovely jubbly, I think.
Hope everyone enjoyed that. We had a few technical issues in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know if I include the footage of me going to Jake's freezer. His phone overheated halfway through, so there's a bit of editing in there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, and if you want to reach out to us, anyone that wants to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to come on. If you're a stato, if you're a stat nerd, or if you've just got a really good gut and you don't, you tend to make some really good picks, let me know.
We're generally pretty much golf addicts, but if you're into your daily fantasy sports and want to come in and get a bit of an insight and let us know your thoughts as well and how you play the game, more than welcome on the show. Reach out.
And remember, free bets, £12 free if you make any paid selection this week with our affiliate link. It is an affiliate link. There's no trying to con anyone here. We're totally upfront, totally transparent. So yeah, enjoy the golf this week. We'll be back next week to